today I felt moved to make a video about how fear and trauma translate into stagnancy and lack for people in the Black community. And I'm speaking specifically about the Black community just because that's my experience. So I'm not saying that what I am sharing can't and won't apply to others. It's just that I can't speak from other communities' standpoints. But so last night I completed the final of a three-part business boot camp that was hosted by the leadership of this place in Chicago called Boxville. So Boxville is located on 51st Street, like underneath the Green Line in the Bronzeville community. I guess you consider that Bronzeville. And so they had a three-part boot camp for people that were potentially interested in being vendors. So Boxville is a shipping container marketplace in the Bronzeville community. And they do a lot of cool events throughout the summer, sometimes even in the winter. But basically, they want to help revive the Bronzeville community. And if you know anything about Chicago, then historically, Bronzeville used to be a Black metropolis, and it's kind of been being rebuilt. So, like now in Bronzeville, there's a Black-owned winery. There are tons of amazing Black-owned restaurants, and just all type of Black-owned businesses. So, Boxville is trying to help to revive Bronzeville's glory, if you will. And the topic that we focused on yesterday was capital. So we talked about money. And it was a cohort of about 15 of us, maybe, yeah, 15 to 16 of us. And so the facilitator, he raised a scenario. He said, hey, this is Mike. Mike has a landscaping business. And during the 2020-2021 season, he lost 40% of his revenue. He had two workers that he could barely pay. He was paying them, but he could barely pay them. And he was also barely meeting some of his other business expenses, right? So they said Mike was offered an $80,000 loan at a 5% interest rate over a 10-year term. Should Mike take that loan? And immediately in my head, I'm like, yes, Mike should take that loan, because Mike does not have to spend the entire $80,000. He could take a portion of that money and put it into marketing. He could take a portion of that money and hire someone else. You know what I'm saying? If his business increases due to the marketing, he can take a part of that $80,000. He can work with a consultant. He can take part of that $80,000 and he can begin to build different relationships with different banks to then increase his chances of building more capital, getting more lines of credit. And my thought process immediately went that way because I have spent the past year or two educating myself on business and finances. So I know the type of mindset that you need in order to be successful in business and generating capital. It's just that due to my own personal traumas, my personal finances, speaking of my personal credit, is not where it needs to be in order for me to leverage my credit. So my whole point of participating in that boot camp was to learn what I need to do in order to raise capital for my business. But so that was my thought process. And some of my peers in my cohort, they were like, no, right away, they were like, no, he should not take it. Like, that's too much money. He doesn't need all that money. That's too long of a term to be borrowing money. Like, I don't want to owe anyone. And I was just sitting back listening, and my therapist, my counselor hat turned on. And I'm like thinking to myself, and I eventually spoke up and said something. And I wasn't trying to be a know-it-all or anything like that, but I was just wanted to encourage everybody, like, look, as entrepreneurs, we need to shift our mindset from one of lack to one of growth, because just listening to some people, I could hear the fear. Like, people don't want to owe anyone, and I'm not excluded. Growing up, I hated on people. You want to know why? Because of my own traumas. I had a big sister. I have a big sister. I have two big sisters. One is a half sister, but my sister that I grew up in the same household with, she's 8 years older than me. And she used to sometimes ask me to borrow money, like, because I was good with money, like, because I was taught that you save money, you hold on to it, you don't spend it. So I used to always have a lot of money. Because my dad was a carpenter, so he got paid cash and he would just hand us off cash, you know what I'm saying? So I had a knot of money, and my sister would come to me and she would ask me for money here and there, and I would give it to her hesitantly, because I'm like, I don't know if she gonna pay me back. She like to play these mind games. So, I would give her the money, but for me, like, I would never ask anyone for money, never ask anyone for anything. And fortunate for me, my dad, and it wasn't just my sister asking me for money. Like, I had aunts and uncles that had habits that my little 9, 10-year-old self, they would be asking me, a kid, for money. And I was quiet and introverted. So, but yeah, anyway, that's my trauma. But what was I saying? So, but yeah, so my dad educated me about finances throughout my life. Like, he's the one that told me, like, hey, you need to go to the bank. When I got in college, you need to go to the bank and get you a credit card. Don't spend the whole thing, but just use it to buy little things that you need, and then you pay it right off. That's how you begin to build credit. My dad did tell me that on a personal side, but no one educated me about business finances and the importance of establishing a business so that you can access this whole other world of capital and money. But yeah, so I was just telling people, like, before we talk about business, like, we need to talk about mindset, because I can hear the fear in some of you all's voices. Like, yes, absolutely, that man should take that loan. Now, if he does not have a plan or a strategy, maybe he shouldn't take it. But if he has a plan or a strategy and he knows that he's going to increase his revenue, you know what I'm saying, and grow, like, absolutely, like, that $80,000 is not nothing, especially over a 10-year period at 5% interest. Like, you could pay it off early if it bothers you that much, but the fact that you have access to capital when you need it, that's everything. And I just feel like a lot of people in our communities is so fearful about owing people. I know people whose parents probably put stuff in their names, ruined their credit, used their social security number for this, that, and the third. But that's all trauma that people need to work through. So, like, yes, you have to weigh your risk and your reward, right? However, if someone is offering you money to expand your business, to grow your business, why wouldn't you take it? Why would you have to think about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it has nothing to do with your personal credit. It's your business credit. You know what I'm saying? So if your business does bad or your business fail, your business will be like, well, not you personally. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about risk and reward, I take big risks. So, you know what I'm saying? It was a no-brainer to me. But other people, the fact that you have to think about that, and that, like, $80,000 is not a lot of money when you're talking about a business. When you get to the $2 million loans, the $1 million, that's a lot of money. But $80,000, that's nothing. You should be making that in a quarter. Like, in 3 months, you should be able to generate $80,000 with your business. And I know everyone is not there. I'm not there. But it's like, the way that you think matters. And because of the trauma and the fear that we have experienced for years, and not just in our lifetime, but for years, like, it's embedded within our DNA. So I know that it's not hard, that it is difficult to get over and to change your mindset. But that's why we need to stop watching reality TV, stop watching Love and Hip Hop, stop watching Marriage Huntsville, whatever that stuff is called, and start watching things that will educate and feed you, stuff about personal finance, business finance. Watch Earn Your Leisure, watch David Shands, Donnie Wiggins, Social Proof Podcast. Like, there are so many other educational videos and things, ways to educate yourself out there that we can watch, as opposed to watching reality TV, because they got their paper, they got their bread together, At least that's what they show us. Like, we need to start consuming things that are fruitful for us and not the drama. Because you are what you eat, you are what you consume. So if that's the type of stuff you watch, that's the type of stuff that you attracting in your life. Me, I think different. I think from a growth standpoint. So I know I'm going to grow and reach the level of success that I deserve. And to anyone that has made it this far and has watched this, like, I really, really just encourage you to work on changing your mindset. Start doing an audit. Start getting rid of people that are negative. Start getting rid of shows that are negative, drama filled shows. Stop spending hours on the phone with people that are complaining and tell you about all the bad things in their life. Start talking to people that are pouring positivity into you. Stop talking about what you want to do in the future so that people can rain on your parade and discourage you from doing it. Stop that. Because it won't get you anywhere. That's a mindset of lack, not one of growth. And like, from attending that boot camp, from the way I hear it, especially in Chicago, they building the Obama Center down there on 62nd, 63rd and Stony Island. The Obama Center. Know how many jobs that's gonna bring? They're gonna want to bring business in there. The old Michael Reed's Hospital, they're making that into like a huge business development. They're working on that. So I think they say about 2035 or something like that. So there will be lots of opportunities. And from what it sounds like, there's lots of money that people are trying to give away to Black businesses. So if you have an idea, start writing it down, start developing your plan, and start getting yourself in the rooms with the right people and work on your mindset. That's it.